all of you. Let me welcome our guest as well as our proud alumni, Miss Jineha Thakkar. I can proudly say Jineha was our student from batch 2012. She has completed her diploma studies in PPI. Now, Miss Jineha is working as a software test engineer in Rishabh Software. She has very good company experience as well as she is filled with all the technical skills. So, students, this is a very good opportunity for you to have some knowledge from Miss Jineha Thakkar. Jineha?
Hello. Is my screen is visible?
Yes. You may start now.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. First of all, hello everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. Hope you all are doing well and your families are also. In this, first, I would like to thank Parul University for allowing me to deliver some good stuff related software testing fundamentals. So thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity. Now, I would like to say special thanks to Ms. Shreya Patel and also Maulika Patel who arranged this session by which I can deliver some concept through this webinar. And yes, as I am working in this field, so it is a good opportunity to deliver some technical fundamentals to you students or the people who are all are join this webinar. I am Jineha Thakkar, working as a software test engineer at Rishabh Software Vadodara. And yes, I am also certified ISTQB Foundation and Agile Tester. For you all guys are thinking like what is ISTQB, right? Might some people are aware from that. So let me tell you the full form of ISTQB, that is International Software Testing Qualifications Board. For more information related ISTQB, you can visit that website and can check it out and can explore some more exams and the some more good concepts related software testing. So with this all, I am welcoming you all in my today's session that is software testing fundamentals. So let's get started. But before that, I want to make one humble request. Be ready with your note pen and paper and some imagination. For that I can tell that relate concept that I am going to deliver with application Facebook, as it is very easy and familiar to all members, so they can correlate their fundamentals, ideas and example whatever I am going to explain you in this session, that might be very useful in your upcoming career also, and the person who wants to explore their self in the software testing. So let's move to the next slide. And yes, you can also visit my LinkedIn profile for some more information related my professional career. So let's clear the agenda. What we are going to cover in this whole 1 hour or 50 minutes. Let's move ahead. First of all, introduction of software testing. Like, what is the importance of software testing? What is software testing? As everyone has that mentality that the person who don't know the development and the programming, they are choosing software testing. No. But what is the important and why we are giving this much importance to software testing? So all those things will be covered, such as purpose and objectives of software testing in this slide. Later on, as I said earlier, why software testing required will also cover. Then software development life cycle and software testing life cycle will also going to cover in this slide. Then we will cover levels of software testing, which types of levels and what types of testings are going to perform in uh, different levels, from level 1 to the level n. Then types of testing. Testing is a huge line. Like in it is very vast field. There are different types of testings are also available. Generally people know that only the manual testing and automation testing by the words, but no, it's not like that. There are different types of testings, so we will explore that also and have a brief idea about that later on. What is the error, bug and failure, as this is the most important thing as a software test engineer, or you can say that as a QA. You have to know and you have to build up that mentality, like what is error, bug and failure. As long as some people are believing in that it is the same, but when it is in form of error, bug and failure, so all those things, these concepts related to software testing will cover also in this slide. And later on, this is the most important, I can say that it is the very much important as a software test engineer, that you should know the bug life cycle. Without that, any tester can find the bug or any error easily, but how to report that and how responsibly they are reporting it, and getting the update, and in how much time the people are going to solve that, and they make sure. So all those things related this will cover in this slide. And later on, yes, as why interactive session and quiz. So as this is the session, like every people say that like we get that information and all that, so some fun activities. And for the knowledge checking session, I have created some quiz, so by you can also check your you can also check your knowledge, that whatever you guys gather in this session. So yes, let's start our main purpose of this session, that is introduction of software testing. So for that, we have to know what is software testing. We know software, we know testing, but what is the purpose and why we are doing it? So before all that, we have to know what is software testing. So uh, let's uh, let's read this first point, like what is software testing, right? So in this clearly mentioned, like it is the process of verifying the system with the purpose of identifying any errors, gaps or missing requirements versus the actual requirement. Now here are the questions, like what is the actual requirement and what is missing requirements, right? So as I already told you, let's keep the one application in our mind, that is Facebook. It is, as it is very easy to understand. So for that, let's take an example of registration form, right? So in registration form, generally client gives us the information like uh, create 3 radio buttons in field gender, that is male, female and others. So as per the software tester or any QA member, it's his or her responsibility to check as per the defined criteria all those 3 radio buttons are present in the registration form or not. If in case it's one of them are missing, 3 of them are missing, or 2 of them are missing, then it will be our responsibility to get notify and raise a bug. Now next, as we are executing the application, whatever the feature we have developed, right? And with the developed feature, there are some requirements defined by the clients. Those were the first coordinated with the product owner or any business analyst. Later on, business analyst or any product owner explain that to their teams, like we have this much of requirements of our client, so developer should have to develop that, and then QA member should have to test that, right? So uh, let me have a let me give you one basic example. Like as any developer developed login form. That is, in login form generally there are two information, right? That is username and password. With username, in username user can also input as that username or any mail id or any unique name that they have created at the time of registration form. In that, there might be possibility in that username field we have put some constraints, like space is not allowed, special characters are not allowed. So at at the time of the development, developers mindset will always work in positive way. Like, as I give the inputs and I am getting the output, that means that this functionality is working. But no, it's not like that. As per the QA or any software tester, you have to think like the negative way also of any application or any feature that developer develop, right? So in that case, you guys have to make sure the applied constraints should have worked properly. Any alert or any pop-up message should get work properly, such as, let's take an example of asterisk sign, right? So as everyone knows that password is mandatory to log in any application or any function. So in that case, what will be happen if user not enter any password? So at that time we should get that error like password is mandatory. So all those things and all those functionalities should get covered by the QA. And in password there are some conditions, as everyone knows that up to specific characters, like special characters, and all those things should get covered. So all those combinations will also be checked by the QA. So mainly in the conclusion, we can say that to finding missing requirements, error and gaps is the software testing. Not only this, but I can say that rather than blaming developers, we have to work as a team. So we have to be softer in our tone, that cannot be feel like he or she is blaming me. Another, let's move and let's talk about the purpose of software testing, right? So the first point is find defects in developed application. What do you mean by developed application? Any application. You can take an example of Facebook, as I said earlier. If I am entering the right username and password, but still I am not able to connect, not able to log in it or connect it, right? So after login, only these things will work? No, it's not like that. But after login, I should able to search my news feed. I should able to check my message, able to see my friend request, and all those things. So what if I logged in successfully, but I am not able to see my news feed? Will it be will it be feasible? No, it's not like that. But with the successful login, my all logged in credentials and all logged in functionalities should get work properly. If any of them are not working properly, then we have to consider it as an defects, and we have to develop and raise it so we can develop any good proper feature or functionality that will be easy to work. Now next, prove correctness. Here correctness, right? Our keyword is correctness. So what is correctness? Why we are take that word correctness? So for correctness, I can say the developer developed any functionality. Is that functionality matching with our defined criteria, or the user wants the same functionality? What if user just want only one function, that is function A, and what if user is also develop function A and function B? Here you guys are confused like function A and function B. So let's have a proper example of that. Like, developer develop username as uname and password as pwd. As all knows, that is a very short form, right? So short form, but user wants that username as u underscore name. So is our requirement with uname and u underscore name is matching or not? So it's our responsibility to match the user requirement, and our developer develop functionality is matching totally 100% or not, so that word can be defined and elaborate like this correctness. Now another one, that is to prevent error. So everyone knows that for a big application or for a smaller application, every developer develops any functionalities individually, right? So if someone develops registration form and if someone develops a login form, so with the registered user and with the right credential, am I able to log in any application? Here you have to consider it. Any application means Facebook. As I said earlier, take an example of Facebook, so it will be easy to understand as it is very familiar, right? So to prevent errors, right? So what do you mean by prevent? We have to make sure that based on our requirements, our application should work bug free, so we can able to access it in a familiar way. Now, next, it is any tester or any QA member's responsibility to have to find bug as early as possible before our application get deployed to the next environment or any production environment. Here you guys confused, like what is a production environment and what is our next step. So let make me clear that fundamental. Like we developed one registration form and login form, right? So at the time of development, I developed my functionality in version 1.1. Later on, I also make that check, like below 1.1 version, my application should not work. But what might happen in some cases, like later on, any QA member that that requirements are not clear, and uh, that functionality what we are developing is not clear with the version details, then it might create problem. So version details and the bug fixes should be done before deployment. Now what is deployment? So deployment is the phase where where we are deploying our developed functionality or any feature to the client. At the time of the acceptance, they are checking all those requirements with the our deployed function or feature, you can say that. So all those things will be covered in later on slides. What is acceptance testings, what is unit testing, and then now let's move to the next slide, like why testing is required. What is the need of testing? Why required? So let's for verification purpose. Now what is verification? Here we already covered the same thing, like to find defects and verify. So what is verification? So we are checking that our requirements that is given by the clients are matching with our actual requirement or not. So as I already given an example for a related gender, that users requirements is we need to keep three categories related genders, that is male, female, or other. So we have to make sure and verify that all those particular radio buttons are present in our registration form or not. So to verify all those requirements is known as for verification. We can say that verification is also important. Now next, that is identify defects, as it is any tester responsibility that they have to check and identify defect as early as possible before any deployment, right? Now next, that is proper verification of each components, like as we already discussed, like if I create a registration form with the valid credential, I made my account, and with all those credentials, am I able to log in my application? Again, let me clear here, application means you have to consider it as a Facebook, so you can easily relate your ideas and examples. So all those things will be checked by our QA, and it is our responsibility, right? So, what do you mean by proper verification? As everyone knows that every component will be developed independently, such as first someone developed registration form and then someone developed login form. At the integration of that both, is user able to log in the same with the same credential? So here proper verification of each components means this: for each components, you can take component A for registration and component B for login. Now next, that is, we have to prove that software is usable and operable. What does it mean? Like data that is collected at the time of testing. Like you have tested all the application in a positive way and negative way both. At that time, requirements and functionality were working very efficiently. Later on, there might be some changes, so they got break and it is not working properly. For example, we are taking again example of registration and login form. So for registration, I did it and I made my account completely. Then in login form, I am not able to log in with that credential that I have developed. I have registered, right? Sorry, it's my mistake. So, what is the by which we can state that this software is usable and operable? So, at the time of testing, you guys may take any snapshot or any video for a particular working functionality. By showcasing them to another person, they might get believe and believing that that functionality was working fine, and later on due to some technical changes it is not working right now. So it is one type of defending ourselves also. Now next, that is SDLC and STLC. For STLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle and STLC stands for Software Testing Lifecycle. What is SDLC? Like, without developer, testing is nothing, and without testing, development is nothing. So here all we are following development and testing phases, like in which phases our code is developed and what are the phases that we are taking care of it. Another next, let's have a look on SDLC first, that is software development lifecycle, right? So, as its first step is requirement analysis. What this step does mean? Requirement analysis means any requirement that told by the client or any our user, we have to understand that and we have to make sure that is it feasible in our functionality, or is all those things are possible to develop, is those requirements are meaningful or not. So which types of functions or any functionality are we changing or are we developing new? So all those steps will be covered in requirement analysis. Later on, software design, that is the second phase of SDLC, right? So, guys, now what is software design? Like, we already have one developed software, right? And its design is perfectly, and all those things are perfectly predefined, and all these things are working very good. But now, as per the requirement, we have to make some changes in design as per the user needs. So, where we are going to develop and in which UI graphics we are going to present all those requirements by client. Now, next, software build. What is software build? Like here, we are going to develop some coding as per the functionality, uh, as per the functionality and as per the user wants. So in coding, we are doing some coding in any language, whatever the already present in developed software, right? In this and next, that is testing. For any developed application, testing is must. Now you guys will confuse in this testing and in STLC life cycles testing, so I will clear that doubt also in later on slides. So testing, here testing means whatever the functionality any developer developed is working fine or not. Here, testing means any independent component or independent module. You can say that. The developer A developed the registration form, so he will going to check on the registration form. And developer B is going to develop login form, then he will check only login form but not the integrated testing. Again, I am repeating, not the integrated testing means not register with the registration. They will perform only registration, and with the login they will perform only login but not registration with login. Now confused? Let me clear. Like I already told, with created and registered account, I am going to login, right? So this third step will be going to cover in STLC. Now next, that is deployment. So what does it mean? Deployment means whatever code I have developed is I am going to deploy on the server, and then maintenance. With the maintenance, after maintenance, we are checking again some testing after deployment, and then we are delivering it to QA member. Here QA is equal to quality assurance. Don't get confused between QA and software tester, as these both means same. Now, STLC, software testing life cycle. So, what are the phases of software testing life cycle, right? So, after maintenance and after delivering it to QA member, it will be in the first phase, that is soft test planning, right? What does it mean? Like we have to analyze and understand requirement first, as domain knowledge and the product knowledge or any application knowledge is very much important before you are going to create any test planning. What does it mean? Test planning means you are roughly identifying some of the cases and some of the scenarios that might end to end, that might integrated, or that might system integrated. Now let me clear all those things in later on slides, and let's move to the next step, that is test case development, right? What is test case development? As you planned and as you thought, like you created 10 scenarios. For that test case development, we have to write down and we have to store that in any repository or any particular shared drive or any Excel file, so we can jot down our things and we can make it clear at the time of performance, at the time of execution of test cases, so it will be a bit easier. Next, test environment setup. Hope you guys remember my one line that I have covered earlier related version details. Like in version 1.1, I have developed my code and I am going to test if in later lower than 1.1, then it might not work, and it will definitely not work, as we have already put that condition that it will work in 1.1 or higher than the 1.1 version. So we have to make sure that and to work to have a smooth working on any application, we have to make sure that our test environment setup should be ready before execution of test cases. Now next, that is test case execution. What does it mean? Like we develop test cases, and all those things are we are going to execute, and we are checking that and verifying that all the validations, all the constraints, and all the things that we have wrote down is going to working fine or not, or 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 any errors or any alert or any pop-up are going to visible as per the developed. Now next, that is stage closure. If our 100% test execution is done and our all test cases are passed without any bug or any error, then we can close that test planning and we can deliver it to the deployment As for the production environment, for production environment I already cleared you guys, and hope you all are aware from this till now. Now next, that is levels of testing. Levels of software testing, what does it mean? Like testing, you guys might confuse up to this, like developer are also doing testing, software testers are also doing testing. So what does it mean? I mean, which at which level who are performing testing? As client will also going to test your application, like, right? Such as they define the requirements, and if those things are not getting matched with the defined requirements for developed application, so they will not going to accept. So at which stage who are going to perform testing will cover in this lesson. So now next, there are total main four levels of testing. Four levels. Which four levels that we will see step by step. First one, that is unit testing, right? What does it mean, unit testing? So in unit testing, what will happen, like developer develops and they are checking the functionality independently. They will not going to check whole functionality end to end. As I already told, any one developer develop registration, then he will check only registration, and any developer develop login, then he will only check login of any application. So, to check any independent functionality is known as unit testing, and it is generally done by developers. Any developers who develop their functions and functionalities, he will check only that code is his or her code is working or not. Now, next, our next level is integration testing. What is integration testing? What does it mean? Why we are going to perform integration testing? So, it is generally tested by the software tester or any QA member. As I already mentioned, don't get confused between software tester and QA. So, what is integration? Let me have one example. Uh, as I told that, take an example of registration and login. What if I register successfully and I am not able to log in with my credential that I provided at the time of registration? Will it be feasible? No. Will it be work? No. Will it make any sense? No. So I have to make sure that at the time of registration, whatever the content or the data I have provided with the same credential, I have to log in, and I am able to log in my application. So all these end-to-end scenario is known as integration testing with the given criteria and given credential. I have made registration and then made and can able to do successful login. Now next, after integration, that is system testing. Now, what is system testing? It is also done by the tester. Here you guys confused, so don't get panic, I am explaining you. Here, system testing means. Let me have one big example. Please stay concentrated. Like I made one account with the help of registration. I am able to log in that also. What will if I am not able to log out? What will if I am not able to see any news feed or any friend request or any messages in my logged in application? Here, application means Facebook. Please consider these examples so you guys can easily correlate your ideas and imagination, right? So all these end-to-end scenario with successful login to successful logout, with successful registration to login to logout, all these end-to-end scenario will going to cover in this system testing. Generally, system testing is in form of scenario based, that is end-to-end. Its test cases might be longer, but we have to check because it is most important part of testing. What if my independent module is working, or any applications independent module is working, but our integration and system end-to-end flow is not working? So it is tester's responsibility to check, like, any applications system testing, that is end-to-end scenario, should get work properly. Now next, that is acceptance testing. Acceptance testing means if my developed functionality and my developed code, or sorry, you can say that feature, if my developed functionality and features are perfectly matching with the requirement criteria given by the user or clients. So at, at this stage of testing, clients are present for the testing and they are checking all the functionality with the defined requirements. So if our criteria is matching somehow with the criteria is matching with developed functionality and the requirements by given by the user 100%, then and then only our acceptance testing will pass 100%. If in case somehow may some criteria will not going to match with the requirement criteria and developed functionality, then it will not going to work. Now next, that is types of testing. There are different types of testings. So as there are different levels of testing, we are performing different types of testings also. So in that, generally people know that that is manual and automation. That is my, like in manual there are different field, different types of testing, and in automation there are different types of testing. People's mentality is like that, oh, you guys in manual, or are you in manual, you don't have any good chance to do a growth in testing. No, it's not like that. But without manual, automation testing is nothing. Why? Let me have a look and let me have explanation on this. But don't keep that mentality that manual have no growth and automation have no growth. So there are main three types of testing, that is by aims, by automation, by formalization. What is by aims? There are two parts in biomes, that is functional and non-functional. What do you mean by functional? Means all the functionality, whatever in the application that I have developed is working fine or not. In a simple words, not making it very complex, as you guys are new to it. So in non-functional, there are different parts like performance, usability, security, and compatibility. So all those compatibility, security, and localization, right? So what does it mean? Let me have an explanation on this. Like in performance testing, if someone is performing any load testing, so they are matching response time in defined response time, we are able to perform any request or not. So all those things will be covered in performance. In usability, like web content and the accessibility are matching with the developed functionality, like navigation and the conveniency, like moving from one page to another page, are doing able to do or not in any application. Compatibility, as I already given an example on that, that is browser compatibility, we are checking in that. And for compliance, we are following some standards. So what does it mean by standards? uh, let note down one thing, that is open forum. So for API testing, what is API, that I am also covering and I will brief you related that also. So for open forum, in that some standards are defined, like open forum or TM forum are the standards. They are making it are easy, and like it is standardized form of any code or any API that you guys develop, right? And now next, that is by automation. In that is manual and automated. Manual means we are checking our code or any sorry, we are checking our functionality by giving the input and verifying the output, is it working fine or not. In automated, there are three levels, that is unit level, API level, and UI level. What does it mean? In unit level, we are checking that our independent component are working or not, and then API means it is the interaction between user interface and database. So with the user interface and database, proper interaction is going to perform or not. So all those things are coming in API level. And last is UI. So for UI, you guys know, must aware by this, that is user interface. What does it mean? Whatever we are seeing on our user interface screen, that might consider that is considered as user interface. So for that, there are different components that you can use Selenium WebDriver or Proctor, like Catalan, for UI testing for automation. But yes, for automation, you guys must know about the script or any coding language, so you can make that and you can perform that. So next, that is formalization. In that, there are main two paths: formal and informal. Informal, test case based, as we all know, as we all see earlier, that is STLC. Whatever test cases we jot down in any repository, we are going to execute that. That is formal. And informal, in informal, there are two: exploratory and ad hoc, right? So what in exploratory scenarios, that is already jot down, we are performing something, and we are developing something new, some new scenarios related develop functionalities. So that is exploratory. And ad hoc, developing new scenarios and also jot downing it in any repository. What is ad hoc testing? For ad hoc testing, you don't need any test cases, you don't need to save it, you just have to perform and you just have to check any random scenarios. So that is ad hoc testing. Now next, it is the most, and you have to know as a software test engineer, and it is the most important, like error, fault and failure. So with this image, you can easily guess that error means it is made by human action. Generally it is done by developers, or developer missed any code or missed any functionality at the time of developer, then it is considered as error. Error is also known as mistakes. Now next, that is fault, bug and defect. Might possible that developer don't know what error he made, and later on QA member is testing this that functionality whatever developer developed, and he or she find any failure in the system. So it is considered as fault or bug or defect, right? Now next, that is failure. What is failure? Failure means any bug that is not caught by the tester also, but at the time of acceptance testing and the demonstration with the customer or client or user, so they find that requirements are not matching with the defined requirements whatever a developer developed. So at that time, we as a team, we are marking it as a failure, as failure is not only particular with the developer or particular with the tester, but it is whole team failure. Now next, as these all error, fault and failure are the main keywords as a software test engineer, so it is the most and most important thing that we have to know, and we have to aware from this terminology. Now next, that is bug life cycle. As a tester, you find or you found any bug easily, but how to report that, how to take a note on that, how to be responsible that, and in which phase you will test, how you will test that bug. So all those things will be covered in this slide. The first phase, that is new. Whenever any QA or any software tester reporting that bug in any software, for bug tracking, there are different software you may search on the search engine, that is Jira, Mantis and many more. So generally this is bug lifecycle. Based on the software, there might be differ in the status, but it is the identical bug lifecycle that we have to follow. Like first phase is new phase. So in this phase, what will happen, like just QA member only registered that bug, but he or she didn't assign to any developer. Later on, he or she will assign it Later on he or she will assign it to a particular developer whosoever developed that functionality. Then it will be in open stage. If after the assignment he or she will check that it should be in deferred, rejected, or any duplicate. What does it mean? Like deferred means we stop that functionality, then it will be rejected that bug, and then it is duplicate. What does it mean? That bug is already present, then also he or she will close one of them bugs as long as they both are synced. Then it is then next stage is open. After open, it will be getting fixed by the developer, and it will be reopened and then assigned again to the QA member. Then QA member again retest that bug and make sure that this functionality is working fine now, and that is not breaking any functionality, and then close it. So this will make sure that with the with the created bug, our breaking functionality is get solved and our function is working smoothly. Now next, as all were waiting with this interactive session, let me have a look on this also and stay connected. So with this, what is user interface? Like on the screen, whatever things we are going to see is user interface with the interaction and DB and user interface. Like with the user interface, I am able to see username as A, and in DB, everyone must know that with data in database we are storing our values and storing our data in a key and value type. So in DB I also store the username. So from DB to DB from DB to user interface, there is one way of communication that is known as API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. So in this, we have to make sure that in DB and in API and in user interface, your input must be same. Okay, so with the QA verification, we should make sure that inputs of our UI, API, and DB should be equal, not differ. Now next is our quiz time. Ready for the quiz? So let's have a look on that. How many levels of testing? So guys, we carried note and pen. Just jot down your all answer with your questions, so you can later on verify the answers. So work first. Just look at one question. Have a look on this. How many levels of testing? There are four options: A for 1, B 2, C 3, D 4. I am holding for some seconds. You may guys think and jot down your answers. I hope you guys done. Next question, that is, what is the first phase of bug life cycle? So here are the options: A new, B open, C retest, D close. Just jot down your answers. Later on we will check that also. Okay, next, that is how many main types of testing? A1, B2, C3, D4. Okay, I hope you guys are writing your answers in one notepad. Okay, next. What is the third phase of STLC life cycle? STLC, software testing life cycle. Here are the options: A planning, B design, C setup, D close. Okay, next and the last. How many principles of testing? It is out of context and out of covered areas. Question. Just use your mind and just write it down. Let's see who can think out of box and can give the right answer on this. Okay. I hope you all guys wrote down your answers in notebook. So waiting for the answers. Here are the answers. Just verify it. Okay. Any queries from your side, guys? Hello. Is there any queries from your side? Okay. Thank you. This is the end of your presentation, and thank you for your support and hearing me for these 50 or 60, 50 minutes. For more professional background information, you can visit my LinkedIn profile, and for some discussion, you can also connect me on LinkedIn. I will clear. Hello. Hello, Shreya ma'am. Are you there?
Yes, Jineha.
Okay. So, is there any queries, ma'am, from the student side?
Yes, students has a query in a software testing method. Can you explain again its topic?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, software testing methods, right? Okay. So, let me go to that slide first. Okay. Okay. So, there are different types of software testing, that is functional, non functional, manual, automated, formal, and informal. So, for functional, we have to check that all functionalities of our developed application is working fine or not. For non-functional, we are checking different, such as performance, compatibility, usability, compliance, security, localization. Here, generally, we are checking the load testing, our response time, and our given input, such as is all those things are working fine or not. Then we are also checking our environment stability, with the defined environment, our functionality is working fine or not. Then uh, in manual and automation, for manual, we are giving input by ourselves and checking the output. It is very simple. And for automated, there are three phases, that is unit level, API level, and UI level. So what is unit level? Means we are checking every functionalities independently. We are just checking independent module. For API, we are checking the interaction between user interface and database. And then user interface, we are checking that our given input is matching and working fine or not with our design GUI. For formal, we are whatever test cases we are jot down in any repository, we are just seeing the test cases and executing it. And for informal, we are doing exploratory testing and ad hoc testing. By the word exploratory, you can understand that you are exploring your scenarios, then define scenarios. And for ad hoc, you are checking the scenarios, those are not present in the defined defined test cases sheet and you are executing something new. Hello,
Yes.
is
And
it
I
clear,
just
ma'am?
students wants to, yes, yes, Jina, and a student just want to know that what are the careers in software testing?
Okay, so guys, there are different field that you can choose, but as per the my perspective, I should prefer that you guys should know manual, as people have that myth, if you are in manual, that you don't have any growth in manual. But it's not like that. For testing purpose, domain knowledge and the functionality must be aware by the tester. And some people have that myth that those who don't know the development or those who don't know the coding are choosing the testing field. But no, it's not like that. It is very vast field, and you can also do coding in testing field also, for some automated scripting and for some automated frameworks. There are very different frameworks like BDD, TDD, all those things you can search. And no, yes, just let me clear one thing. Don't be considerate like developers are paying higher than the QA and QA are paying lower than the developer. It's not like that. It is totally based on the interest. Like in testing, there are different fields like testing with DevOps, automated tester. For automated, they are developing something, some new frameworks for the existing function, that uh, those who are checking manually, same thing will be done by the code. So yes, for testing, coding is also required, domain knowledge is also required, and some other functionalities, end-to-end scenarios are must required. As a developer, you guys must know the independent component, right? But if you are doing QA, then you are able to know the end-to-end functionality and end-to-end workflow of any system. So yes, there are opportunities are also available for QA. Like I can say that if developer developed any code, but without testing, it will not going to deploy on any environment, right? So there are so many good opportunities for QA also.
Okay, thank you very much, Jineha, for giving a valuable time and knowledge to share with our students. On behalf of Paro University, again, I have to thank you, Mrs. Vidita Patel, our
Thank you,
HOD,
ma'am, for
Jatin
giving me
sir,
this
and
wonderful
Jineha.
opportunity.
And I hope you are again come here and share your knowledge with us. And a best of luck for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for providing this wonderful opportunity to me so I can share my knowledge with the people.
Thank you very much. Now I have just ended this session. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.